Assalamualaikum, welcome to my channel and the way. Today we are going to discuss about the shoulder joint, also called as the glenohumeral joint. So this shoulder joint or the glenohumeral joint is formed between the glenoid cavity of the scapula and the humerus bone. The joint of the glenohumeral joint having the articulation with the head of humerus, that is the rounded head, fixed in the glenoid cavity, the cup-shaped cavity of the scapula, and together they form the articulation to form the glenohumeral joint. This articulation is covered with the joint capsule and the glenoid ribrum. We will going to discuss by a diagram, and where we can see two apertures in this articulation and the joint, in which this glenohumeral joint having the two apertures which passes the bicep brachii tendon, and the second aperture passes the bursa for the subscapularis muscle. We're going to see it in a diagram. Now here you can see the general anatomy of the glenohumeral joint. This is a scapular bone having a glenoid cavity that is smaller than the head of a humerus. This glenoid cavity is covered with a cartilage. You can see the glenoid labrum or the articular cartilage, and having the ligament. Here you can see this showing the tendon of a bicep brachii that is broken and showing the joint. The open joint having the tendon of bicep brachii that will going to pass from the intertubercle sulcus of the humerus, that we will going to discuss further on. This glenoid cavity will going to articulate with the head of the humerus, that is the rounded contour, and by this articulation there will be a formation of a glenohumeral joint with a joint cavity and a synovial capsule. The scapula and the humerus bone have been discussed in a separate video. So from this video you will be better explained about the articulating processes in the bones. Now coming to the ligaments that are present in the glenohumeral joint, and these ligaments will cause the strengthening of the joint, including the glenohumeral ligament, the transverse humeral ligament, the coracoacromial arch, and the coracohumeral ligament. These four ligaments are providing the strength to the glenohumeral joint and prevent the dislocation of the shoulder joint upward, because they are all strengthening these joints upward and forming the superior strength of the glenohumeral joint. Now here you can see the ligaments that are present here is superiorly the coracohumeral ligament between the coracoid process of the scapula and the humerus. There will be a presence of another fibrous capsule and the fibrous membrane on this joint capsule that is formed from the glenoid cavity and the head of the humerus. Then there will be two apertures that we have discussed. Here from this aperture there will be a passing of a long head of a bicep tendon in between the intertubercle sulcus of the humerus, and the other aperture for the bursa, that is a subtendinous bursa of the subscapularis muscle. The other tendons we can see. So if we focus on this diagram, here is shown the other ligaments that are present, including the coracohumeral ligament. There is the presence of a transverse humeral ligament between the two tubercles, that is the greater and the lesser tubercle of the humerus, and it covers the tendon of a bicep brachii. Then there is a glenohumeral ligament. This whole is a glenohumeral ligament that is present anteriorly, and it is divided into the superior and the middle part. The superior part of the glenohumeral ligament having the fibers attached with the middle glenohumeral ligament, and there is an aperture for the tendinous bursa. So this was the general anatomy and what are the ligaments that are attached to the glenohumeral joint. Now we are going to discuss what is the blood supply. So here I have written the blood supply is from the anterior and the posterior circumflex humeral artery, that are the branch of the third part of the axillary artery that we have discussed in a separate video of axilla, and the innervation of this joint is from the axillary nerve. So you have to remember the anterior and posterior circumflex humeral artery for the glenohumeral joint. Now coming to the muscle attachment and the movements that are provided by this joint, as this glenohumeral joint is a ball and socket type of synovial joint, and it is the most stable joint of the whole upper limb and the joint cavity. It having the synovial membrane, synovial fluid, and it is a most stable joint because it is supplied and it is strengthened by the ligaments that we are going to discuss, and by some of the muscles that we call as the rotator cuff muscles. They are just cuffing the ligament and they are just cuffing the joint capsule. Here you can see, guys. Now here you can see these are the ligaments, some of the rotator cuff muscle that will going to attach on the lateral side of this whole joint capsule and the glenoid cavity, and there is a covering from all the four muscles that we call as the rotator cuff muscle, and these will going to strengthen the joint capsule. Now the rotator cuff muscle that we will going to discuss includes the four muscles causing the supraspinatus, the infraspinatus, the tredes minor and the subscapularis. This supraspinatus is attached on the upper surface of the spine of the scapula, is providing the abduction of the arm. The infraspinatus is present inferior to the spine of the scapula and it is a powerful abductor and the lateral rotator of the arm. While the teres minor that is attached on the glenohumeral joint is forming the rotator cuff muscle and it is important lateral rotation and the adduction. The last, that is the subscapularis, is a powerful medial rotator of the arm and these all muscles will going to prevent the dislocation of the shoulder joint and they are forming the rotator cuff tendinitis. There is a musculotendinous sheet of a cuff and it will going to prevent any dislocation of the shoulder joint. So these three muscles that we call as the SIT arise from the greater tubercle of the humerus, while that of the subscapularis arise from the lesser tubercle of humerus. Now because of these all muscles and the ligament, this glenoid cavity and the glenohumeral joint is very much strong and perform as a ball and socket movement. So all the movement including the flexion, the extension, the abduction, the adduction, the medial rotation, the lateral rotation and ultimately the circumflexion, that is the combining of all these movement in a sequence, can be done by the glenohumeral joint because they are most stable and it is the most movable joint of the upper limb. That's why these all movements are possible in the glenohumeral joint. So this was an explanation about the glenohumeral joint and the shoulder joint. I hope you will explain well. I have covered all the ligaments, all the movements, all the muscles and ultimately the blood supply and the articulation that are present in the glenohumeral joint by a simple and easy notes. I hope you will be explained well. Thank you for watching. Subscribe.